If you're going to be whiny, you might as well do it at this point in life, right? Okay. Well, I guess that's, now where is everybody? Come on. Why isn't this room full? That's what I want to know. Yeah. Come on, you guys. Go out there in the street and grab two people. Okay. So I think it's too early still to start, isn't it? Or are we thinking about starting soon? Or what
Jack
do you
has to
think?
give you a big introduction.
I know. Okay. Well, I don't know what time it is. I don't usually wear a watch, so.
6:41.
It's 6:41. You know, I'm not sure if I can move to New Hampshire because I can't do your accent. I'd be too obviously an out-of-towner. And what time am I supposed to start? Is it 6:30?
Yeah.
Well, goodness sakes, let's get going.
Yeah. There we go. All right. Sorry for all this. What I wanted to do was, first of all, tell you that we're really thrilled that Rosa was willing to come here. It was through the efforts of Rick, raise your hand, Rick and Mary Heather, who brought Rosa here. Rosa has spoken now at 3 different events. Yesterday she spoke in front of 17 or 18 of our state reps. Wish there were more there. It's very important. But we do know that the state reps are on board. They've initiated a bill. It passed the House, but it didn't pass the Senate. That's your job. You got to start making some noise. It's really that critical. We have the guns in our state legislature to get this done, and we have to get it done. This is an American issue. It's not a Republican-Democrat issue. Rosa's a liberal Democrat, she'll tell you that. I'm a conservative Republican. A lot of you in this room probably are conservatives. Doesn't matter. This is America, and we are about to lose our sovereignty, our liberty, our freedom, and our property rights. That's the truth. And Rosa will give you a lot of facts, a lot of information, but her book is wonderful. And I hope if you haven't purchased one, buy 1, 2, or 3, because you got to get the word out. I'm on my 2nd reading, so please do that before you leave if you don't have one now. The information in there is invaluable, but there's a lot more information out there that you can grab. Google it, but get on board. So I'm going to get right to it. Rosa Koire is ASA is a forensic commercial real estate appraiser, and she specializes in eminent domain valuation. Her nearly 30 years of experience analyzing land use and property value enabled her to recognize the planning revolution sweeping the nation. While fighting to stop a huge redevelopment project in her city, she researched the corporate, political, and financial interests behind it, and she found United Nations Agenda 21. Rosa speaks across the nation and is a regular blogger on her website, DemocratsAgainstUNAgenda21.com. Please give a great Live Free or Die welcome to Rosa Koire.
You're not fooling me. I know that you know you're going to be sitting here for an hour and a half, and that's your last chance to get up and move around. Well, thank you so much. I've had a fabulous time here in New Hampshire, and really seriously thinking about moving here because I love New Hampshire, love the people. I've met great people here. What a terrific! Just to have "Live Free or Die" on your license plate, that is just so great, right? And you mean it, and that's important because we all mean it, really. That's what it's all about, really. So, because there are many ways to die, but there's only one way to live, and that's free. So I do appreciate your commitment to private property rights, and I know that you know that our bodies are our most important private property.
Here, here.
Yes. So what we're talking about here, now I just want to tell you really quick about myself so that I can dispel all of that black helicopter stuff. all of that tinfoil hat stuff right off the bat, that is so yesterday, okay? Because what we're talking about here, what we're going to talk about tonight, that is not a conspiracy theory. We're talking about a conspiracy fact. And if we can understand objective reality, then we can recognize that what I'm talking about tonight is factual. I am a commercial real estate appraiser, and my specialty is eminent domain valuation. For the last 30 years, I've been a district branch chief for the Department of Transportation in California, and I do, I'm an expert witness. I do litigation support. So when you do that, when you're testifying and when you're being deposed in court, you have to understand that everything that you're doing has to be defensible in court. You have to be able to defend your point of view in court. Now this is even more so. This is even more important because what we're talking about here is not my opinion. We're talking about fact. And everything I'm going to talk about tonight is factual. If I'm speculating on something, I'll let you know. So, let's see. We're going to see if I can see past my nose here. I want you to know that I understand that as Americans, you are going to find yourselves deeply opposed to and completely at odds with the agenda for the 21st century. And that is what it's called by the United Nations and by all of the nations that signed on to it in 1992. That's why it's called Agenda 21. It's the agenda for the 21st century. And it's not Area 51, it's not Catch 22, it's Agenda 21. That's not what I call it, that is what it's called by the United Nations and the world. It's a blueprint. It is the action plan to inventory and control all land, all water, all plants, all minerals, all animals, all construction, all means of production, all energy, all information, and all human beings in the world. Inventory and control. Now we are seeing it now. We have been going through the inventory phase and we are still there, but we are moving into the control phase. It's a transition from representative government to government by unelected boards and commissions. It's the erasure of our jurisdictional boundaries. It's a loss of private property rights, our sovereignty, and our freedom. You know, obviously, we're going to be concerned about this, not just as Americans, but as free people in the world. This is a worldwide global plan. The United Nations Agenda 21 Sustainable Development was signed on to by 179 nations, including the United States, in 1992 at the UN Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. George H.W. Bush signed us on. It's an agreement. It's not a treaty. It's soft law. George H.W. Bush signed us on to it, and it has been supported by all the presidents ever since. It's a global plan. So, what you need to know about this, you're going to hear tonight. The United Nations Agenda 21 Sustainable Development is the biggest public relations scam in the history of the world. It's far more than that. It is a recipe for our destruction. It enables and justifies monitoring and metering and restricting our energy and water usage, and you'll see that as smart meters. Instituting a carbon tax on industry, pulverizing our roads and destroying our dams, sinking our economy, exhausting our military with endless war, diagnosing a huge portion of our population with mental illness and drugging us, bleeding our transportation budget with high-cost trains to nowhere, revamping our school system from pre-kindergarten all the way to postgraduate school to include sustainable development principles in every course, declaring our public lands off limits to humans, changing every land use document in the nation to require high-density housing so that we can be more easily monitored, surveilled, and controlled. It allows for warrantless searches and domestic surveillance and identifies us as potential enemy combatants in our own country. You know, if an enemy was trying to destroy us, it couldn't do a better job. This is the erection of a corporatocracy. It is a global totalitarian state, and it is in progress right now. Now, I know that it sounds crazy, this might sound like overheated rhetoric, and I really wish that it was, but it isn't. And I will show you this evening, if you haven't already heard about this, how exactly this is happening right now, right here in New Hampshire and all across our country. There's an overarching political and social philosophy that goes with United Nations Agenda 21 Sustainable Development, and it is commutarianism. Communitarianism says that the individual's rights have to be balanced with the rights of the community. Now, we are Americans. We know that we have our individual rights. We're guaranteed our individual rights by our Constitution. You know, our rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? Those are not rights granted to us by our government. They can't be taken away or granted by our government. We were born with those rights. But when you look at communitarianism, our individual rights have to be balanced with the rights of the community. That is for the greater good, for the common good. So what are the rights of the community? They are undelineated, they're unwritten, they can change at any time, they are granted and can be taken away. So when you think about balancing those rights, balancing your individual rights with the rights of the community, and that could be your local community, that could be your state, your region, your nation, or in most cases, we're talking about the global community, the global community. So you balance those rights. The individual's rights are always going to be like a feather, and the community's rights will be like a brick. The individual's rights are always carry less weight than the weight of the community. So I like to do this visual because I think it really kind of helps to imagine, to see what it looks like when your individual rights are balanced with the right of the community. So we're going to take two clear glasses. One of them is a glass of water, and that is your constitutional republic. That's what we have here in the United States. Then you're going to have your other glass, and that is a communitarian state. That's a glass of milk. So communitarian states are Communist Russia, Communist China, Nazi Germany. It's all for the common good. It's all for the fatherland, right? It's all for the homeland. That's a communitarian state. So you're going to take these and you're going to balance them. So we're going to get a clear glass pitcher, we're going to put it down here, and we're going to balance our constitutional republic, individual rights, with the rights of the community, the communitarian state. We're going to balance those. You put those together, what do you have? You got milk. You've balanced your individual rights with the rights of the community, and they have been lost, subsumed into the rights of the communitarian state. And this is what it looks like. So, Agenda 21 is dependent on the Hegelian dialectic, and that's when a crisis is created and a solution is posed. And the balance between these two becomes the new normal. Now, you never would have agreed to that new normal if it hadn't been for this crisis, right? The crisis pressures the acceptance of the solution that is now the new normal.
GrokTV.